Classical Nahuatl is any of the variants of Nahuatl, spoken in the Valley of Mexico and central Mexico as a lingua franca at the time of the 16th century Spanish conquest of the Aztec Empire. During the subsequent centuries it was largely displaced by Spanish and evolved into some of the modern Nahuan languages in use today, although classified as an extinct language. Classical Nahuatl has survived through a multitude of written sources transcribed by Nahua peoples and Spaniards in the Latin script. Classification. Classical Nahuatl is one of the Nahuan languages within the Uto-Aztecan family. It is classified as a central dialect and is most closely related to the modern dialects of Nahuatl spoken in the Valley of Mexico in colonial and modern times. It is probable that the classical Nahuatl documented by 16th and 17th century written sources represents a particularly prestigious sociolect. That is to say, the variety of Nahuatl recorded in these documents is most likely to be more particularly representative of the speech of Aztec nobles, while the commoners spoke a somewhat different variety. Phonology. Vowels, consonants, prosody stress generally falls on the penultimate syllable. The one exception is the vocative suffix "c", used only by males, where stress falls on the final syllable e.g. Guatliki, but Guatlique, hey, Guatliki. Phonotactics. Maximally complex Nahuatl syllables are of the form CVC, that is, there can be at most one consonant at the beginning and end of every syllable. In contrast, English, for example, allows up to 3 consonants syllable initially and up to 4 consonants to occur at the end of syllables. For such purposes, TL is treated as a single sound, and not all consonants can occur in both syllable initial and syllable final position. Grammar writing system. At the time of the Spanish conquest, Aztec writing used mostly pictograms supplemented with a few ideograms. When needed, it also used syllabic equivalences. Diego Duran recorded how the Tulhuilos could render a prayer in Latin using this system, but it was difficult to use. The writing system was adequate for keeping such records as genealogies, astronomical information, and tribute lists, but it could not represent a full vocabulary of spoken language in the way that the writing systems of the Old World of the Maya civilizations script could. The Spanish introduced the Latin script, which was then used to record a large body of Aztec prose and poetry. A hic somewhat diminished the devastating loss caused by the burning of thousands of Aztec codices by the Spanish authorities. On the Nahuatl edition of Wikipedia, the language is written in a Latin script, including 4 letters with macrons along vowels a, e, I, o. Many other foreign letters such as b, k are used only in foreign names, such as in Francitlan. The orthography used there is outlined below. ACCHCUE HUIL asterisk MNOPQUTTLTZXYZAIOL asterisk H asterisk. Notes: letters above marked with an asterisk have no capital forms except in foreign names. Like in Spanish, K is written as C except before I or E, in which case QU is used. Likewise, per second is written as Z, but before I or E, which case C is used. However, TS is always written as TZ. The classical Nahuatl per second was likely substantially different from the normal Spanish S of the time. A voiceless retracted apico-alveolar sibilant fricative per second. It was far more similar to the normal Spanish Z of the time period. Per second, a voiceless laminal alveolar sibilant fricative, like the typical English per second. X is used for the SH sound, as in early modern Spanish. CU and HU, which represent K and with respectively, are inverted to UC in UH at the end of a syllable. The letter U is used only in digraphs, as the Nahuatl language lacks an U, distinct from O. H represents a glottal stop, a sort of pause caused by constricting the throat, as in UHO. History. Literature. Nahuatl literature is extensive, including a relatively large corpus of poetry. The Huelamahui Cultica is an excellent early sample of literary Nahuatl. A Spanish Nahuatl Spanish dictionary, Vocabulario Manual de las Lenguas Castellana y Mexicana, is the most important and most frequently reprinted Spanish work on Nahuatl, according to the World Digital Library. Nowadays, classical Nahuatl is used by National Socialist black metal groups of Mexico supporting indigenismos such as Kukulkan, Tlateoticani and Comando de Exterminio.